Today we're going to talk about step 2 after we've just discussed about the footings, which you'll have to watch the previous video for this. So today we're going to talk about these different types of foundations you can build. So there are things like concrete, which we have here today, and you can have insulated foundation, insulated concrete block, or you can have wood foundations, or you can have concrete block foundations. So there are different types, and you have to decide which one is going to work best for you in your situation. And then when it comes to forming these, so when guys come in, they have forms that go on either side of the concrete. So as you can see here, there's a thickness to that, and that thickness there is based on the height of the wall and on what's coming down on top of it. So you got to make sure that you have the right width. So, and you can work with your contractor, or if you're doing it yourself, make sure you know what you're doing, and also work with a designer or an architect or an engineer, somebody who knows exactly what thickness and strength of wall that you need. So, and then sometimes what they do is they put rebar down inside the concrete as well, and that also gives it even more strength. It's not necessary in every case, but your designer or engineer or whoever's doing the drawings for you, they'll tell you whether or not you need it. So and it's not necessary in every case, but just make sure you know. Then you see on top here what we have. These here, those are anchor bolts. So down inside here, they're like an L shape on these guys here. So they go down inside the concrete so far, like down in here, and then they have an L so that they can't be pulled up. And what those are for is those are for holding your plate. There's a wood plate that goes on top of here. Actually, there'll be a foam gasket, then there'll be a wood plate on top of that, and then they bolt it down so that and that's what holds the wall system together. So that's important. Make sure you put those. There are other ways to do it, but this is just one way, and it's a very strong way. So whenever these walls are poured, the concrete truck comes in and he'll have a big boom on. And what they do is a big boom, like a chute or like a tube, and it'll come down and it actually just sits on, like they put it on top of the wall, and it's like a big, I don't know, it's just a big tube that like a water that comes out as if it were water, but it's not, it's concrete. So, and it goes down. And as they pour it, what they do is they use a vibrator that goes down inside the wall, because inside here, when the concrete is loose, like when it's first poured, and what it does is it gets out any air pockets, because you do not want air pockets, because air pockets create weak points in your foundation, and you do not want that. So, and the other thing is too, is you want to make sure that your foundation walls are at least, they got to be to the code for the frost line. And if you don't get it to the frost line, then you could have a problem with it. You could have a problem with the walls heaving because it's not below frost line. And we talked about that and the importance of that in the previous video. So you want to just make sure that you're below the frost line, depending on where you're building. So that's really important. So then we're going to talk about curing. So this concrete takes time to cure. And what that means is basically curing is just hardening. And as this concrete goes in a liquid form, and then it dries and cures, is what they say, it can heat up. So that's just the process because of the chemical reaction. After your wall is poured and after it's vibrated and after you got the forms off, because they're either steel forms or wood forms that hold the concrete in place as it's drying. And once they strip all that off, then what you got to do is you got to damp proof the wall. And what damp proofing is basically what they do is they spray a coating on the wall. As you can see, like right down here, you can see a little bit of black. So that's a spray coating. That's the first part of the damp proofing. Then what they do, a good builder, what a good builder will do, they'll either use like a rubber membrane that goes right on top of the wall, and it's got an adhesive on the back of it, and it basically glues to the wall. Other ones are, this is a drain clad. So this is a heavy duty plastic wrap that goes all the way around the house. So, and now you can backfill with just about anything, because first of all, it's got, see these little divots or dimples in it? That creates airspace in behind that concrete, or in between the concrete and that plastic. And now if there was any moisture in there, it's got air in it, and air will help dry it out every time. So now you can backfill with whatever you want on that because it's super strong. So once you've got your damp proofing done and you've got your drain clad or whatever it is, your blue skin or whatever it is that you're putting on the outside of the foundation, it doesn't matter what type of foundation, whether you use an insulated concrete blocks or insulated forms or wood foundation, you always need to have a damp proofing on the outside.